What's up, everybody? Preseason is underway tonight. That's right, 7 p.m. we will have Bills, Panthers, home game. Who's excited? I know I am. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's been a long time coming. So today I just kind of want to jump on here. First preseason game. Want to talk about 5 key position battles, or more, we're going to talk about a couple different things, but mostly it's going to be not one specific position on the team, obviously, but we're going to talk about 5 key position battles that is going to happen tonight that we're going to look forward to. I'll take some comments in a minute. Just wanted to get started. Thank you, everybody. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, Buffalo Fanatics pages. Please subscribe to the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel if you guys haven't already. It's great. You're going to get all the updates. You're going to get notifications when we go live or when we have updated videos, things like that. So let's get right into it. So I think the first one that I want to talk about is the cornerback position. All right, we know we have Trey. We know we have Vontae Davis. But the nickel position, I think, is kind of open and is up for grabs. Now, we drafted Taron Johnson, right? So that might be somebody that can slide in there. We also brought in Philip Gaines. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see tonight how much reps these guys get, how many times we're going to be in the nickel situation to kind of look at that. So that's going to be something. Haven't seen a lot of stuff coming out of camp about Philip Gaines. Haven't seen a lot of stuff coming out of camp about Taron Johnson. So I know they think highly of Johnson, so we'll see. Losing Leonard Johnson, I think, was a little bit more of a bigger deal than a lot of people are making it out to be. But he didn't get signed until this week, so maybe there was something underlining there that just wasn't a fit going forward, or who knows. But that'll be something to look forward to. Let's make sure that, we have Trey. They're probably not going to play a lot. Vontae might play a little bit more because he's got something to prove. But let's take a look at Taron Johnson, and let's take a look at Philip Gaines. We have some other guys on the roster. We have eight cornerbacks on the roster total. So, there is going to be some wiggle room here and there. They're probably going to get a lot of, the 4, 5, 6, 7 through 8 is going to get a lot of playing time in the second half. So look for that. Again, so key position battle number 1, the nickel corner. I think it comes down to Philip Gaines and Taron Johnson. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'll check the comments here in a second. Next, I want to go to who's going to be our third running back. We have Shady's our number 1. Ivory's our number 2. So who's going to be the third running back that's going to get, some carries here and there, going to be serviceable here and there to give the other guys, a breath or whatever. So looking at, we have Travaris Cadet, who was on the team last year, suffered that gruesome injury last year, was playing good, can catch out of the backfield. We have Tywan Jones, who we also know got injured last year, also good in space, very serviceable, special teams guy. We have Marcus Murphy, who flashed a little bit, small sample size. He flashed a little bit last year when he got some playing time. And then you have undrafted Keith Ford, so who's had a good camp. So highly under the radar type of guy. He's had a pretty good camp, So it should be interesting to see, because one of these guys, or maybe all 4 of them, is going to get a majority of some carries in the second half. I don't expect to see Shady too long. I don't expect to see Ivory too long. McDermott has said that, the first and second preseason games, he doesn't want to risk any injuries by playing these guys too long. So it should be pretty interesting to see. I really like Marcus Murphy. I think that he is a different pace type back. He looked really good in the couple games that he played last year. But we'll see. Keith Ford has kind of come out of nowhere, and he's doing some things in camp. So that's the second position to look forward to tonight, would be who's going to be behind Shady and Ivory. So going from there, I'm going to take some comments real quick. Taylor Cook, what's going on? Thank you guys for everybody that's joined on here. This is something that we're going to be doing quite often. We're multi-streaming on YouTube and Facebook for the Buffalo Fanatics. So thank you everybody for taking time out of your day for jumping on here. Let's take some looks. Vladimir Ostrovsky, what's going on, dude? Says, I like Marcus Murphy as well. All right, somebody agrees with me. That's cool. Brent Siebold, is somebody going to stream on Facebook? I'm not sure about that. Taylor Cook, my bet for the third running back is Marcus. So I got two people that agree with me. Noah Guider says, Teron is an unproven rookie that could use a lot of reps. I agree. So I think tonight you're going to see a lot of the rookies are going to probably play the second half. If I had to guess, they're going to put these guys in second half, different packages, and kind of see what they got from there. Andre Walston, what's up, dude? Ronald Enix, what's going on, man? He also says Murphy. I got 3 for Murphy. Jarek Hall talking about Robert Foster. We'll get to that in a second. Tom Wright. What's going on, dude? Pete Bonaker. What's going on, man? How are you? You were on last time, too. I remember you. He says, let's go Bills. Robert Ginyard says Murphy should be the 3. So I got a lot of people looking at Marcus Murphy. So we'll see tonight. What's up, Sharif? Jarik. All right, so I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to save my two, I think the 2 biggest position battles for the end here. But I want to talk about the defensive line because we spent a lot of money on upgrading the defensive line. We spent a lot of money upgrading the defensive line. As everybody knows, we signed Starr, we signed Trent Murphy, we drafted Harrison Phillips. So we have a lot invested there on the defensive line. So let's talk about what we can see tonight and possibly get a kind of a gauge on, not so much the first string guys because we do, McDermott loves the rotation, but some of the guys that I think that we need to keep an eye on going through the next 4 preseason games. The obvious one is Shaq. Trent Murphy's injured, so he's not going to play tonight. So that's going to give Shaq an opportunity to go with the ones. I feel like he still has something to prove. Now, I'm not going to categorize him as a bust because, let's face it, he was injured both seasons. So, it wouldn't be a fair assessment. But this is the year. If he's healthy this year and he doesn't show signs of figuring out a different way to rush the passer other than the bull rush and stop the run, that's what he was brought in for, albeit a different scheme for Rex. But if he can't figure out a way to get to the quarterback and at least make it look like he's showing some progress, then I think that he's at risk of losing his spot on the team, to be quite honest with you. Let's talk about Jerry Hughes. Don't foresee him getting a lot of playing time tonight. Maybe the first series on defense, maybe the second series on defense, maybe the first quarter, depending on how much the defense is out there. But I don't think that they're going to want to push him. He's an aging vet. So I don't see him getting too much playing time. I do see him playing the first series at least, maybe the second series. And he's also a guy that, he's got something to prove also. I mean, last year he was the guy who was double teamed a lot because, you had nobody on the other side. You had Shaq there, and then Shaq got injured, so you had Eddie Yarborough over there. We were flip-flopping guys in and out. So, because when Jerry Hughes is on his game, he's one of the probably top 15 defensive ends in the NFL. He's good, and a couple seasons ago, him and Mario Williams were they were wrecking ball. So we'll see. Tonight should be just a couple series. We'll see. We'll go from there. So then it gets real interesting because the defensive tackle position, we have Starr, we have Kyle, and we have Harrison Phillips. So I foresee Harrison Phillips getting more reps, more snaps, more drives, second half. Kyle will probably start the game, and Starr will probably start the game. Now, one thing that I haven't seen coming out of camp so far is a lot of buzz around Starr. He got the big contract, the 5-year deal. He got all the money, the notoriety, one of the top defensive tackles in free agency. But I haven't seen a lot of things come out of camp. He looks like he's in really good shape, but the last 2 seasons where he was kind of trending down. So we'll kind of see if he bounces back from that. Don't expect him to play too much. He's been one of those guys that McDermott's kind of held out of camp every so often. Him and Kyle, the veterans. One good thing too, I'll talk about Kyle. Kyle looks good. Kyle looks really good. If you've guys seen any of the scrimmages or any of the camp, when they're doing the 11-on-11s, Kyle is blowing up the offensive line. Now that could be good and bad. That could bode well for him. That could bode well for our offensive line. So I do know that they are trickling in different players on the offensive line at, center and guard and stuff like that. So let's just hope that that's just a matter of Kyle being Kyle at age 35 and looking to have, one final, push in his career. You have the Adolphus Washingtons and the Eddie Arboros and things like that. So those are the guys that will probably get the majority of the playing time tonight, because game one is just to try to figure out, pieces and try to figure out schemes and moving guys in and out and stuff like that. Let me get past your comments. You guys are blowing this up. Love it. Sam Mazza, what's up, dude? That's my dude right there. Vincent Lopez. I just talked about Shaq. Sharif says Harrison Phillips is Kyle Williams 2.0. I agree. And if you guys saw the cool video of Harrison Phillips walking onto New Era Field for the first time, he was blown away. And it was real. It was true. It wasn't something that was fake. I mean, the dude was almost in tears. And that's a guy that I think that he fits the McBean, mold to a T. And let's just hope that he pans out. I mean, the dude had 100 tackles as a defensive tackle last year in college. So, plus we've all seen the bench press reps, in the combine. QBs, that I'm going to get to. What's up, Sammy Out? What's going on? Raul Enix, top 5 D this year. I think that we'll have a top five defense this year as well. I just hope that they're not on the field all the time, because that's when we start getting injuries and we start getting susceptible to other things. So Sharif says, I still can't believe he failed us in the third. I agree. Taylor Cook. What's going on? Sharif. Michael Saviano. Bills D-line going to be feasting this year. Secondary is locked in with the improvement to our run defense. Yep, top 3. He's shooting for top 3. I like it. Jamie Hoofnagel. What's going on? Jarek says not top 3, but improved. Absolutely. The run defense can only improve over last year. The defensive line was upgraded. We spent a lot of money on the defensive line. I hope that Trent Murphy comes back from his injuries and his PED suspension, and he proves that he is what we paid him to be. Tom Wright. Go Bills. Joanna Wing. Hello there from South Carolina. Hello. I lived in North Carolina. So, Tyler Cook. I'm not going to talk about Khalil Mack because I want to keep it about the game tonight. So let me. All right. So the next one. So I saved the best 2 for the last here. So wide receiver battles. As you guys know, I did a video a couple days ago about Corey Coleman, and I've had some time to kind of think on it. A little bit of chatter behind the scenes with some of my fellow Bills fans. I've had some time to kind of digest it. But let's be honest. KB's probably not going to play a lot tonight, coming off his injury from last year. So KB's probably not going to play a lot tonight. Zay Jones is probably the number 2. He's probably going to get some playing time. I don't see him playing a ton, but he hasn't. So let's say he's healthy and he can play. I mean, he's out there catching passes, running routes, and playing, doing the 7-on-7s and stuff like that. So if he's healthy enough, he probably should get a lot of reps since he's missed all of camp. So if he's healthy, I think that McDermott is very. He's not that type of guy who's going to give up on a player. So I think that he's going to get all the number 2 reps. Probably not tonight, but he's going to get some reps tonight. Number 3, Jeremy Curley. Probably won't get a ton of reps because he's a vet, so he probably will get some with the 1s, some with the 2s, just to kind of see where he's at. And then hasn't been confirmed yet or not, unless I missed something here in the last 15 minutes, if Corey Coleman's going to play tonight. He's been at camp. He's been running with the offense, so if he's figured out the playbook, which I'll get back to in a minute. He'll probably play. And then we got a whole boatload of guys that are looking to make the squad. So we'll go through them in no particular order. We'll go through them, and you guys can kind of give me your opinion on all these guys as a whole, each guy individually, and I'll give you my opinion on all of them as well. Because I think the 4 that I previously mentioned, I think that they're a lock to make the team. Yes, I think Corey Coleman's going to make the team. It's probably going to take him a while to digest the playbook because if you guys seen anything, there's about 800 plays that Dable runs. So it's going to take him a while to digest the playbook, so we have to be patient. We have to be patient with all these receivers and running backs and quarterbacks and linemen because this is a new offense that is completely just dynamic. So, all right. So, you got Brandon Riley. You got Rod Streeter. You got Andre Holmes, Cam Phillips, Robert Foster, Malachi Dupree, Ray McLeod, and Austin Prohl. Those guys all can't make the team, right? Some of them can make the practice squad. I think that Riley and Streeter are our 5 and 6. And I think that Riley and Streeter are our 5 and 6 because I think that Streeter last year would have been on this team if he didn't get injured. Now I know, what if, but he's an option as a deep threat. As long as he's back healthy from his injury from last year, which was pretty devastating, he's a deep threat. I think Riley makes the team because the dude's busted his ass for 2 years. Now, I'm not saying that means he automatically gets a pass because he's busted his ass, but if you've seen the guy in camp this year, he's in I want to make this team mode, and he looks good. He's been running with the ones. He looks good. So the other guys, I posted earlier in Facebook today, do we carry 7 receivers into the regular season? I think you have to. And why I think you have to is because you need a guy on special teams to return punt. You need 2 guys on special teams to return punts and kicks. And I think Streeter's the other guy, and I think Ray McLeod, both those guys are going to be the return guys. And fortunate for like a Ray McLeod, who's good in space, is that we have the new rules in place for kickoffs. So hopefully get the ball in his hands and get a little excitement, get us some good field position every so often. So Samiat, top 3, Richie Manda. How many quarters you want? Josh Allen. I'm going to get to the quarterbacks in a minute. I'm saving the best for last. Joanna. I haven't heard anything about Ray. I talked about Ray when I did my show about the Corey Coleman trade. Ray's been doing exclusively a lot on special teams. He's having issues learning the playbook on offense, and if you've seen anything, he looks confused where he should be lining up. Now, any of these guys might be confused coming looking at this playbook because you got a ton of plays, and if you know anything about Dable's playbook, he's got you lined up here, and then you're going to shift here. You might be a wide receiver, but you're going to play tight end on this play. You might be a running back, but you're going to be slotted as a blocking wide receiver. He's got time, so hopefully he makes the team as a return man. And if you guys remember, I'm not comparing him, but if you guys remember Steve Smith started out his career as a return man, and he had drop issues when he was his first 2 seasons with the Panthers. He had some drop issues, and he was a small guy, so he had speed, and he was able to get elusive, and that's how he made his name for himself. And I'm not comparing the two because I love me some Steve Smith. Foster and Dupree are the most talented. I don't think Dupree even makes the practice squad, to be honest with you. I think Cam Phillips makes the practice squad. I think Foster makes the practice squad, and Austin Prohl makes the practice squad. And I think we're going to cut or trade Andre Holmes, to be honest with you. I think he's the odd man out. He's making, upwards of $1.6 million. And he played special teams the last 9 games of the year. Raul Nick says absolutely 7. Cool. We agree there. That's awesome. Where would you rank our receiving core? That's funny you mentioned that because I just saw something today on the score. If you guys follow the score, they're pretty good. They update pretty much all of the Buffalo media stuff and kind of lump it into one page, so you can kind of scroll through WGR and stuff like that. But the score had the Bills wide receivers graded last, and this is post Corey Coleman trade. So I think that there's a handful of other teams out there that are worse than us at wide receiver. And they also ranked the Bills 31st overall out of 32 teams. And the team that they put at 32 was the New York Jets, which I think the Jets are better than the Dolphins. I think the Jets are better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Bills are better than all those teams as well. So I don't know. I think it was as clickbait at that point. Jarek Hall, Foster mostly knows the playbook because, well, yes and no. He says, Jarek Hall says Foster knows the playbook because he played last year in Alabama. Yes, but it's not just an Alabama playbook. He's got some Patriots stuff in there. He's got a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Growing Legit says this is Coleman breakout year. I hope so. I hope that's why we brought him in. I mean, he's brought in to compete, right? He's not earned anything yet. He's got to make sure that he can catch the ball and run routes and be our deep threat. That's why he was brought here. But don't be surprised if he doesn't pan out. He doesn't pan out. I mean, we only traded away a 7th-round pick in 2020. All right, so let's get to the elephant in the room. Not sure if you guys can see it on my TV back there. The lighting's kind of blurred, but I have the 3 quarterbacks up there. Okay, we got the McCarron, the Peterman, and Josh Allen. So some different things have come out of Bills camp saying, the Bills brass talking that all 3 quarterbacks are going to get reps with the ones tonight. So is it smoke and mirrors? Is it McDermott playing mind games? It's preseason. What I think they should do is kind of let McCarron start. Fine. Let him play the first quarter. Let Peterman play the second quarter. And let Allen play the entire second half. Let him play the entire second half. Yes, we went through this last year with Peterman. Well, he's playing with the 3s, and he's going against the 3s. So what does he really have? He just needs game reps. He needs game reps, 11 on 11 against a different team. He needs to get game reps. And if he looks good, maybe next week put him in with some of the ones. Everybody knows my opinion on Josh Allen. I think he should be our starter day one. If you want to call it the process, whatever, but he needs to get playing time, period. We all need to understand that he can't just be thrown in there tonight. We need to get him some game time. Let him get some snaps. Let him have real bullets flying. And if he goes lights out, then okay, let's kick it up a notch. Let's put him in there next week, with the ones and see what happens. But McDermott hasn't named a starting quarterback. A lot of people say that that's old school mentality. It's McDermott's team, so we just kind of have to go with what he's doing. There's really nothing we can do about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to definitely tonight seeing Josh Allen, no doubt. No matter who he's in there with, looking forward to seeing him just get in there and chuck the damn ball down the field. Saran Neal. Richie Monda says, have you heard anything about Saran Neal? Is he going to be taking the nickel spot or extra DB? That's a good question because I haven't seen anything coming out saying he's going to be a nickel corner. Not saying that they won't do that because he could very well be McDermott's Swiss Army knife version of Micah Hyde. But you got to remember the system that McDermott runs, a lot of these guys fit the system perfectly. So maybe he was drafted because of his versatility. So we'll see. But I haven't seen a lot coming out of camp on him, which could be good and could be bad. I mean, if he was not doing good, you'd probably see a bunch of stuff. Preseason game is going to be first quarter McCarron, second quarter Peterman is all in second half. Allen second half. Growing Legit says, I say let McCarron play the first half and Peterman the whole second half. Well, when does Josh Allen play? If that's the case, no. Don't sit Allen the entire game. He's got to play this week. He's got to play tonight. And he's going to play tonight. God, I'm trying to catch up to you guys. All right. So yeah, Green Bastard. Nice. I like your screen. It says Josh Allen should not start day one. Please no. Yep, that's your opinion. I have a different opinion. We all have different opinions. I think on there's only two opinions: play or don't play. Game one, right? All right. So let's circle back. I'm about to get off here, guys, because it's game day. Circle back. 5 things to look for tonight. The nickel quarter battle. That should be interesting. A lot of these guys that are playing in the second half are probably going to be guys that may or may not be on the team because we have 8 corners, and I think we're only going to carry probably 4, maybe 5. The running back, who's going to back up Shady and Ivory for our third running back spot? Again, everybody that I've read on here says Marcus Murphy, but I wouldn't sleep on the other guys. Keith Ford, Tywan Jones, and Travaris Cadet. I like Travaris Cadet too because I think he will help this offense with all the moving parts out of the backfield. He's really good catching passes out of the backfield. Highly underrated. Chris Ivory too. Guys, if you guys have seen any of his highlights, you know, watching it when he played for the Jets, you know, it wasn't, we obviously didn't pay too much attention to the fact that it was Chris Ivory, but if you watch any of his highlights, Chris Ivory's pretty decent receiver out of the backfield. So that's good. The defensive line, you know, how the rotation's going to work out. How is Shaq going to play? How's Jerry Hughes going to play? How's Harrison Phillips going to play? What's Starr going to look like? What's Kyle going to look like? You know, Adolphus Washington. Guy's been here 3 years now. Eddie Yarboroughs, and then the list goes on and on and on. Wide receivers, after, you know, KB, I think the only 2 that are locks at this point are KB and Curley, because Zay hasn't been on the field quite as much as he needs to be. But we'll see. I think that they still have loyalty to him because he was such a high draft pick and he went through some personal stuff. So I think McDermott's not ready to give up on him. So we have all these guys fighting for, you know, the 5th and 6th, if you want to call it the 5th and 6th wide receiver spot. So it'll be kind of cool to see all those different moving parts on offense. Vincent Lopez, I cannot go to the game because I live in California. So I will not be going to the game. There will be a bunch of guys going to the game that I know of, so just take a look for them. Sammy says Murphy or Cadet. Trick says I'm all game for Allen starting day 1, so he agrees with me. I didn't do anything on the O-line because I think that's still there's a lot going on there. Ryan Garoy, the only thing I've heard is Ryan Garoy has been pretty consistent at center. So, all right. And then obviously the quarterback spot is the last thing that I touched, and that's probably the most important. It is the most important piece to this puzzle. It starts tonight. We'll see. Is it going to be McCarron starting? Is it going to be Peterman starting? Is it going to be AJ starting? Are they all going to get time with the ones? You know, is McCarron going to play a couple series? Peterman's going to play a couple series. Josh Allen's going to play the whole second half, which is kind of everything I've kind of heard so far. But who knows? McDermott's a magician. He might pull something out of his hat that, you know, might be completely different. So we'll see. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. A couple shout-outs to my boy Jack Bick. He made the picture for me. You guys will see more stuff from him. Follow him on Instagram. He does some really cool Bills artwork. Shout out to, obviously, my family, the Buffalo Fanatics, Pierre, Rico, my brother, Akeem, Bobby B, all those guys holding it down. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like this, share it, comment. I'll try to return comments if I can. Check out the Buffalo Fanatics Facebook page. They also have a Facebook group. You guys can kind of post things and comment in there. Check out the IG page. It is the #1 go-to IG page for all Bills content all the time. And we are cranking out stuff left and right all day, every day. It's only going to get better once the regular season gets here. And also follow those guys on Twitter, Buff Fanatics with 3 Fs. And I'm Dave Myers.